All right, CoCoTALK episode 42 is going live in 3, 2.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer, with your host, Mr. Gameplay Goodness himself, Stevie Stroh.
All right, everybody, and welcome to CoCoTALK episode 42. This is our first live episode of 2018 because last week we phoned it in with a pre-recorded CoCoTALK After Dark episode, and we're here, we're live, at the same time, same channel. We've got a great panel for you. We've got some new faces, we've got some old faces, and then we've got some faces of people who are old too. So we're just going to go around the room in a clockwise fashion in the upper left-hand corner here. Still hasn't taken down his Christmas tree. You got to admire that spirit or just overt laziness. Mark Overholser, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing fine, and it's laziness.
And we have from the Glenside Color Computer Club, host of CoCo Fest, Mr. John Mark Mobley. Thanks for being here today, John.
Thank you. Sure. Glad to be here.
All right. And we also have a very handsome person wearing a royal blue CoCoTALK shirt, Mr. Grant Leighty. How are you today, Grant?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
From sunny Southern California, Mr. Steve Bjork is here.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
We're doing all right. Somebody with an incredibly good backlit silhouette here, Mr. Richard Lorbieski. How are you?
Doing good. Still in the witness protection program there.
Yes. Well, that lighting makes your microphone sound much better. And literally suffering from a case of pneumonia as we speak, we have Rick Adams with us today. Hey, Rick.
Hello.
That is dedication.
Yeah.
Or insanity, one of the two.
There's no such thing as digital contagiousness, is there? Can we? Anyone is
no.
get sick right now?
Don't think so.
Well, that's good.
I talked to Intel about that one right now.
And outside of the garage, in the guest bedroom, we have host of Ron's Garage, Mr. Ron Delvaux. Hello, Ron.
Hello, everybody.
How are you?
Very good.
From the Great White North, Mr. L. Curtis Boyle's with us. How's it going, eh?
It's going good. Sorry I missed last week's episode. It looked like a good one.
Yeah, it was. It always is. Working on something as we speak over there. Host of the CoCo Crew podcast and the chief delegee of the CoCo Fest, Mr. John W. Linville. How are you, sir?
Well, thank you. I'm putting together Game Master cartridges. So.
There you go. Very good. And first time on the show from the Life cereal commercials, it's Mikey. How are you, Mikey?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you for letting me into this thing.
Hey, we're glad to have you. We'll get to hear your mini life story here in just a minute. One of the bastards who's won all kinds of crap, Mr. Paul Fiscarelli, winner of the first person to survive the Forest of Doom and the person who's survived it on easy mode, medium mode, hard mode, insane mode. Paul, and the other bastard who's beaten all the games and getting all the glory, Jason Coco Man Reichert is with us today as well. Hey, Jason, how are you?
I'm doing well, even with all the name calling.
Yeah, no animosity here. I think that's great. There's never been more interest in color computer games lately than than there is now. And so why don't we start right away with our newest member of the panel, newest person on the show, Mikey. You have the spotlight on you. So thanks for calling in. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your past with CoCo and your present? What are you doing now with the CoCo?
Sure, thank you, Stevie. Well, I had a CoCo, like some of you guys, from a very early age. My very first memory of using, I should have it to show the battle scars on our old CoCo 1, but my earliest memory was sitting at the basic prompt and pounding random keys into it and hitting enter and seeing this funny thing called SN error. What's that? Syntax error? Oh. Eventually I learned how to program. I was like 10 or 12. I was doing 6809 assembly language programming and whatnot. So that's the past. Nowadays, it's a little hard to find time to work on projects, but I'm working on something called Pi DriveWire, which I've sent out to the list like last year sometime. And I'm also working on a few other DriveWire type projects, just like programming and things like that. Not a huge gamer, but I have bought into some of the more recent things, so I have had a little time to enjoy CoCos.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us today. Glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks. Just one more comment. I haven't caught up on all the podcasts, but even though I don't have much live CoCo time, I do have lots of podcast listening time. So I feel like I'm sitting here with all my buddies,
Yeah,
so
very cool.
That's why I'm happy to join you guys for at least for a little while.
Okay, great.
We are all buddies.
On that list of podcasts, I'm hoping is the CoCo Crew podcast.
We've got about 90.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've listened to every single episode of the CoCo Crew, and love John and Neil and Mike. So
there you go, Myro. It has caught on. Very cool. Yes. So there's about 90 episodes of the CoCo Crew right now, and and we're up to
31.
Well, between the two of us, we're pushing 90 episodes.
Yeah.
There's
3 hours long.
Yeah. There's no shortage of content. Let's say hi to some of the people in the live chat now. So we have Tanya here saying that in Europe it is now 8 p.m. And then we have Brian Joyce saying good day, brothers from other mothers. Brian Joyce in Australia. Richard Cavell in the UK, and Tom C is with us too. And yeah, so it's been another week in the real world. And okay, Ian McLaughlin is here from Canada. I hope I didn't butcher your last name there, Ian. And yeah, thanks guys for being here. So it's been a busy week for me. I have not been able to stay on top of what's been going on with projects and blogs and everything else. But I did capture a couple of snippets from the Facebook group. But I thought since we had John Mark here from Glenside, maybe you can give us a little bit of update on what's going on right now on some of the things you can share with us about the CoCo Fest as it unfolds, and anything people need to be aware of that maybe hasn't made its way to the website yet.
Well, we have a lot of responsibilities we're trying to delegate out to people. We have like one person scheduling who's going to give talks and when. We have somebody else who's in charge of getting the screen and the projector that would be used with like a PowerPoint presentation. We have someone else who would be responsible for an amplifier so that the presenter could talk. We have someone else responsible for recording the talks. Each one of these responsibilities, there's, what kind of video? Are they going to try to hook up an RGB CoCo up to the projector? Do they have PAL output? Can the projector take HDMI? What is the projector compatible with? And Somebody wants to connect into the Wi-Fi. Maybe they want to live stream video out of the Heron Point building. There's a limited bandwidth, and so not too many people can do that at once. Somebody might want to have a private network from one side of the room to the other that's not part of the Wi-Fi. And I don't know what you call those, like a bridge or something like that you can set up.
Sure.
And we have somebody who if someone needs something like that, they can contact me, and I can find the person responsible for that and see if we can make whatever accommodations are necessary. So I have the list of who we're trying to delegate to, and if people can email me from the website, the contact us part of the website, glensidecc.com, then I can get them in contact with who I'm trying to delegate the responsibility to, and we can take care of everything. We don't have a lot of AC power. We might have maybe 7 electrical outlets for everybody to run off of, and some of those outlets might be on the same circuit breaker. So if you want to have a soldering iron or a heat gun or something like that, it might cause a problem. If you could bring an LCD monitor instead of a CRT monitor, it might help us out a little bit. Maybe you could bring a UPS, and you could run your soldering iron or your heat gun off of the UPS instead of the electrical power. We don't really know, but the electrical power is one of the problems with the location we're at.
Now, has this changed from previous years? Because has the power situation changed?
No, it hasn't changed. I mean, people need to know that they need to bring a 50-foot long extension cord.
Sure.
They
some
need
gaffer's tape, things like that.
Yeah, some gaffer's tape or some kind of tape to tape the wires down, and they need to bring what is it called, an outlet strip?
Power strip. Yep.
Yeah, and they might need to be willing to share some of the outlets off their power strip with the neighbor nearby, because not everybody can plug straight in, probably.
Sure. Yeah, we've done that in the past. It seemed to work out. But yeah, these are important things to know. A lot of logistics go into planning these events. So yeah.
I mean, you might want to run Pac-Man, and you might want to run your speaker volume up to the max, but it might annoy somebody who has to share a table right next to you. So there are things like that. And somebody might want to be located closer to somebody else that they want to network with, and they can contact Tony Pedraza and say, when they get their booth, that they need to be next door to somebody else or something.
Okay, so you could put in your request if you had a preference on where you would like your table to be, and you might not be able to honor those, but at least let it be known. I mean, some things might not be as flexible. I know, like the Music Man's typically in the corner where he's at. He's got so much gear to plug in. He kind of needs those wall outlets behind him. So a few things like that might not be flexible.
We have a limited number of tables, and you need to apply for your tables ahead of time, and the tables do cost. I don't know exactly what they cost, maybe $30 or something to have a table. If you want 2 tables, it costs even more. And so you have to go on the website and download some kind of form, a vendor application form or some such thing, and fill it out and scan it and email it to Tony Pedraza. And you don't have to pay right away, but when it's time to register or pre-register, you can then pay your money then.
Okay.
Yeah, on the website, I got the contract. It's $25 for a table and $10 for each additional table.
But if there's a shortage on spots, you know, I could see you running into a situation where you've got more requests for tables than there are tables. So you know, I guess it's a good problem to have. But it's hopefully as these events get more attendance, the real estate might become a little bit more prime.
Yeah, we do have a lunchroom. We could stack people in the lunchroom, and we could actually stack people out into the hallway, but we can't secure the hallway overnight. So you would have to take your display down or take the valuables off your table at nighttime if you're in the hallway.
Very, very cool. So we'll a little bit later we'll go ahead. Well, if we're talking about it now, why don't we just jump over and look at the website right now? I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Glenside website. Glenside website, it's glensideccc.com. This is where you can find out all about CoCoFest. And here we can see the dates, right? So it's April 21st and 22nd of 2018. Here's the address. Here's the phone number. I would also suggest if you're planning on attending and you are going to get a room there, to book your room in advance because they will run out of rooms. And you don't have to actually charge your card to reserve it. You just give them the credit card number. They will charge it when you show up. But reserve the room. Mention you're there for CoCoFest so the Glenside can get credit for the people that show up. We also have on the website right now, let's see what we have added to a list of people who are attending. Yeah, so the attendance list is growing here. So Rick Adams will be here, William Astle, Jim Brain, Steve Bjork, Steve Bjork, which we just announced last week. So this is very exciting to have Steve Bjork back at CoCoFest. If you were on the fence about coming to CoCoFest and you want to meet Steve Bjork, this might be, you know, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for that. We were very happy to have Rick Adams last year and coming back again this year. Neil Blanchard of the CoCo Crew podcast, L. Curtis Boyle, Carlos Camacho, Jamie Cho. Now, I remember Jamie Cho has been mentioned on the CoCo Crew podcast many times. He's worked on a number of projects. So maybe this will be the first time we get to meet Jamie. Richard Crislip, Ron Delvaux will be here, right? Brendan Donahue, Morgan Donahue, that might be Brendan's wife, Tim Franklin, Alan, Ron Klein, David Ladd, Grant Leighty, John Linville, Mark Marlette, John, Mark Mobley, Jim O'Keefe, Boise Pete, Henry Reitveld. Some people know him as Reitveld, or what was the other one? Sent from my phone.
Yeah.
Is Boise attending? I thought he couldn't make it.
Boise has had a change of plans and can.
Oh, good. Okay.
Myro, John Strong, myself, Evan Wright. Sorry, John Linville.
Also, Morgan Donahue is Brendan's daughter.
Okay. We have our event staff. Our event lineup is taking shape here. So Friday will be the club will start to set up at 6 p.m. If you happen to be there Friday and you're an exhibitor, you can start to set up at 7:30 Friday evening. You have from at 7:30 till 9 p.m. Friday evening. That's a great head start to set up your exhibit if you need to. Saturday morning, you can start at 7 a.m. and set up your exhibit if you fly in late. Show starts Saturday at 9 a.m. with our Music Man and our national anthems. One of the first events now, rather than being a keynote, and I know we discussed these on a couple of the roundtable discussions and a few talks we had, but a tour of the booth, which I think is a great idea. And then lightning talks. And so we probably need to give a talk on how to give a lightning talk. But Jim O'Keefe will talk about programming in fourth. We will have our lunch, and is the meeting this time too, or is that on Sunday, the meeting?
Sunday,
okay. John Strong, video game development. Steve Bjork, topic to be announced at 2 p.m. All right. Award ceremony at 3. No minimum bid auction, which is the best reason to attend CoCoFest. If you're looking to get anything, you're going to get it there. And do I hear $1? Do I hear 50 cents? Right? On-site dinner is always great. Nice barbecue. The Trivia Jeopardy show is a great time. CoCo Chit Chat. This is where we all get together and shoot the breeze. And then possible musical jam will be happening again. Sunday, we start off with our national anthems. We have a speaking slot to be determined. CoCoTALK Live has gotten moved to Sunday at 10, or is that 10:30 p.m.? Or is that supposed to be, I'm assuming that's a.m.
It should say a.m., sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I had to bump you to make up for Steve Bjork.
We really got the shaft on that one. Yeah. CoCoTALK will be appearing in the parking lot Sunday at 9 p.m.
No. What they're trying to do is CoCoTALK at night.
Yeah, there we go.
Literally after dark.
Live and uncensored.
CoCoTALK in the dark, where we look our best. So.
CoCoTALK Witness Protection Program.
Yeah, so the Sunday auction's at 1 and the show closes at noon, right? Don't forget to touch the heron. So there you go. So we'll continue to...
looks like looks like the time on the lunch is also wrong. It says 11 p.m.
Okay. Well, listen. You eat when you get hungry, okay? So... So we'll continue to provide these updates, and we're glad you could be here, John Mark, to give us a little bit of information. And planning is starting early. It seems like there's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of enthusiasm and buzz right now. So definitely looking forward to CoCo Fest again, as always. And, yeah, cool. Anything else you want to add to that, John Mark?
The main thing is the contact us portion of the website allows you to ask questions. We're hoping to have pre-registration this year so that you can update your name, your email, your address if you want to give your address, and prepay, which will make registration a lot easier. We might have some terminals set up at the CoCo Fest so you can directly update your own record from a terminal or a kiosk at the CoCo Fest. Otherwise, you can fill out a paper card, and somebody will hand enter your data. We have a database of over 1,000 members. Not all of them are alive, and when the newsletter is updated, we like to send out a notification on those email addresses. In order to log into the database remotely, you're going to need a password, and we're going to use your current email address that's on record to send out what your initial password is to the database.
Okay. So people can update their contact information ahead of time, so it's already there.
Yes. And if you need to contact somebody, you can contact like Richard Bear and say, I'd really like to talk to Steve Bjork, but I don't have his email address. Can you pass on my contact information to him so he can, if he wants to contact me, he can, and
okay.
Like that.
Okay. And so just go to the Glenside website, glensideccc.com, and go to their contact page and send an email to the appropriate club member, and you guys will forward that along.
Yes.
So, sounds good. And the theme? You want to share with us the theme and the meaning of the theme this year?
The theme is fusion, and it has to do with fusing of the old and the new. The through-hole components with the surface mount components, the 6809 with a CPLD or FPGA is kind of, and of course what is the SD cards, the SDC. The fusing of the old and the new is the theme of the festival.
That's great. That's great. Very, very cool. All right. Well, we're going to take our first commercial break here. We're going to pause for a cause, hear from our corporate sponsors, and we'll be back with more CoCo Talk right after these words. Thanks, everybody.
This is Ben Anding. You're watching OG Gamer Stevie Stroke.
Greetings, YouTubers. Atari Leaf here, and you're listening to CoCo Talk.
My fellow Americans, Australians, Canadians, Europeans, and all of you ands, I'm calling on all y'all to help us make the world great again by visiting the Retro Swag Shop at 8bit256.com, where you can get yourself a coffee mug like this with a little cute cartoon character that says, I'm a Coco Nut. You could also get yourself a coffee mug like this with a Color Computer 3 that says, I'm a Coco Nut. You could get yourself a deluxe travel mug like this with the CoCoTALK logo on it. You might even be able to get yourself a DVD like this with over 2 hours of gameplay goodness. It is time for us to rise up and make the world great again by enjoying some quality retro merchandise and CoCo nostalgia. So please visit 8bit256.com and let's make the world great for the Color Computer. Thank you very much.
And let's make the world great.
Okay, somebody's getting a little bit of feedback there. But hey, Jason, I thought I would let you know that your brother just chimed in on Skype. Ken Make It said, Coco Man sucks.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Yes. And so all my fellow Americans and Canadians and Europeans and all you ans, I love that. Very, very cool. So, yeah, we have Coco Fest to look forward to in the next couple of months. And definitely looking forward. Oh, now he says, love you, brother. You suck, but I love you. All right. So let's get back to the regular initial segment of the show, which was project updates and acquisitions. Does anybody have either of the two that they would like to mention? I know Curtis does, but Mark, you got anything to share with us?
We can do Ron's Garage.
No, I'm working on some stuff, but nothing really to share. So
okay, Grant Leighty.
I am looking for a cassette recorder. If anybody has one to sell, just let me know.
Okay, that would be what's that called? ISO, in search of?
Yes, I'm sorry.
No problem. Mr. Bjork?
Oh, still working on my different hardware projects. I've got that sound card that actually might be able to be hooked up to the CoCo.
Oh, neat. And Mr. Witness Protection Program, Richard Lorbieski, any project updates on Codename Alpha or anything like that?
I'm waiting on, I need to get a stencil for the joystick adapter because those chips are extremely small and I can't really, not hand solder them, but I can't place solder on them, so I need to get a stencil for it.
Okay.
So then I can get that. And I'm still making the RGB SCART cables, have a bunch that I need to do this weekend so I can send them out. And working on the Project Boomerang 512K board also. Project
Boomerang. It's got an Australian theme to it. So if we throw it, will it come back?
Maybe. I don't know.
One way to find out, right? Now, Rick, I know you're going through a whole lot right now, so I wouldn't expect. Well, you did mention you posted an update to your GitHub recently on your project you're working on, right, Rick Adams?
Right. So I just now, after about 3 weeks, I managed to actually touch it briefly. So
kind of like a heron.
Other than that, my life has been I touched the heron. Yeah, my life has been sort of like the lost dog poster that says, looking for our dog, missing one leg, one eye, one ear, answers to the name of Lucky.
Yes, a lot going on, and we're glad we're glad you're here, and we wish you all speedy recovery and health,
right,
and all that good stuff.
Early next week, Alice is going to be transferred to a transitional facility from the hospital. So, she's had 2 of the 3 operations they want to give her, and so that's the big one that she really needed was to, basically put her back together because her back just went. So now, it's like she's got pain, but it's reasonable pain. It's like somebody stabbed you in the small of the back with a knife type pain, as opposed to what we had before, which was somebody randomly shooting you with a taser type pain. So we're really glad to be past that point.
Okay.
Later today, I'm hoping to get down there and do a little more work because I don't have a whole lot to do because she's not here. She's waiting to go to the transition facility, and I can't visit her because I have pneumonia. And they said that they're not letting Mr. Pathogen on her ward anytime soon. So, so we're kind of stuck. So that's all I got.
Steve Bjork, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, Grant, you're making a lot of noise on your microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Grant. All right. Ron Delvaux, you mentioned we're going to do a Ron's Garage segment today, so that's good.
Yep.
So we'll save you for then.
Okay.
Okay. And L. Curtis Boyle, looking very clean cut and smooth and pretty today. What do you got to update us on, Curtis?
Well, we finally pushed out an update to the ease of use Nitrous 9 project late last night. We got kind of delayed because we hit some bugs with the way a graph drift for the 6809 loads. It's now too big to fit an AK block, so it takes 16K, and unfortunately it tries to load that in the system RAM area after you're booted. I'm getting a little bit technical here, but basically we were running out of RAM almost instantly trying to boot a standard boot. So we've currently, as a temporary temporary setback, we've just removed a couple of extra window device descriptors and stuff just to shrink it just enough to get it down to fit so it boots properly. But Bill and I are working on doing a fix to actually solve the problem once and for all, so you should have all the RAM back and you can load whatever size graph driver you want. So that just went out last night. I know not too many people had a chance to look at it, although I just been, during this call here, I've actually been getting a couple of stuff from Nick on Skype. He said he likes the looks of the new icons, which of course he would because he designed them. And he also mentioned he should be back to normal sometime next week and actually have high-speed internet back, so he's hoping to be back on the show next week.
That's great.
And he's got some other suggestions too on the Nitrous 9 project, but I'll leave that until we actually get back to work on it. But that's basically what I've been working on. The other thing I've been working on is Rogue. I hit a mini milestone yesterday. I've now crunched the code over 1K. Still going through it. Got a couple of little features I've added to it from the original stock. I'm going to probably try to add a few more. And then I'll release the source code for that to the repository so that if anybody else wants to muck with it or rewrite it to make hack or something like that, they can go right ahead.
Cool. Very, very cool. Very cool. Glenn Hewlett just joined us in the live chat. Hey, Glenn. Thanks for stopping by. John W. Linville, how goes it with you this week, sir?
Well, this and that. I've been spending a lot of time building out the CoCo Game Master developer cartridges to ship off and figuring out how to ship internationally. Had to send a few overseas, and also been looking into how we're going to pay taxes on the money we made with the Tandy Assembly, which is a lot more complicated than it ought to be, but maybe not too terrible.
Can you repatriate it?
Yeah. Well, it's because we're incorporated in one state and we had the event in another, and some of us may have to file multiple local or state returns because of that, and I don't know, it could be a little messy. Just enough punishment for doing something good.
You're doing something wrong if you didn't lose money.
Yeah, well, we didn't make much money, but we are on the positive side, so until we pay our taxes, at least. Been working a little bit on figuring out how to adapt the music that's in Farfall over to the new hardware. It's making decent progress there. And let's see what else. And kind of consulting a bit with Boise and Myro or whatever as they play with their hardware. So,
yeah, I saw the video that Myro posted not too long ago where he's got a couple of lines from some Aerosmith songs written in BASIC running on the thing. And that's about as far as I got. He goes, all right, this is the part where the music stops, and if you just wanted to hear music, pause here because now we're going to get technical. So I haven't gotten to the technical part yet of that video.
It's a good film. He goes into a lot of depth and detail on explaining the mux, at least for the sound side of the mux in the CoCo. One thing that I think he didn't really mention it because he's not using it, but I think it's important to note that the selections on the mux apply to both sides, so not just the sound side, but also to the joystick side, which can trip people up when they're trying to do sound and joystick, and they wonder why suddenly they're sampling the wrong joystick axis, or they go to sample another joystick axis and their sound goes off. But I'm sure more details can come later.
Okay, neat. Yeah.
I have a question for you, John. Because you're mainly the volunteer for Glenside for the CoCo Fest for just about everything they're doing, how do you have time to do everything else?
I steal time here and there. The schedule is, it's a modified version of last year's schedule, so got to try to take advantage of that, and try to do the things as they come in and not let them pile up too much. Plus, like I think you were on the call, I believe, the other night. So you heard that I asked for at least some tentative approval of my schedule that I've come up with. So at least we shouldn't have to fight that one out again. Hopefully, so at least get that cleared, and probably getting close to collecting nominations for some awards. So be looking for that on the Facebook group.
Okay.
And so we've got 7 award categories, and we need some nominees. Hopefully we can limit that to people who will actually attend. But
make it a special exception if it's not type thing. Because imagine I mentioned you're being busy. I think you've been pretty busy with your day job too, with the whole Spectre meltdown thing too, right?
Well, thankfully that doesn't actually touch my day-to-day responsibilities in any big way. Although they did go internally at Red Hat and basically copy every senior technical person above a certain level on all the bug reports. So I go in and I have like 400 new email messages in my inbox that are all just extensions to the bug reports. But it could be worse. I could have to be writing that.
Thank heaven for small favors.
Yeah, but it's amazing how widespread the issue is. I did notice that the Raspberry Pi people went off and they wrote a little white paper explaining why certain models of the Raspberry Pi are not affected. So if you're really security conscious, you just need to transfer all of your day-to-day computing over to the original Raspberry Pi.
Or a CoCo.
Or CoCo. It might be just as effective.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, Mikey, you, I know we just kind of met you officially today. You said you're a little bit busy, but are you working on any CoCo projects at the moment?
Oh, I always have CoCo projects in, various stages. Even when I wasn't, I have one that I can't show that's like in 5 pieces with a whole bunch of cables coming out of it. I have software projects. I got a what's it called? The CoCo Proto from Miro. I have something in mind for that one. So I have all kinds of fun things going on. I don't have anything that I can announce, but last year I tried to announce the Pi DriveWire around the time of CoCo Fest. And I have some updates for that, so I'm probably going to do the same thing there.
Okay. So this is DriveWire running on a Raspberry Pi.
It's DriveWire implemented in Python.
Oh, when you say Pi, yes. I assume, okay, Python. Okay.
Right.
That sounds like that might be needed to an extent, because I know Boise Pete says he's working on one for the Mac. Because the Windows version is running in Java currently. So you're working on a drive. Is this like a DriveWire server? I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's a DriveWire server that's implemented in Python, and the reason for that is I am not a Java programmer. I really don't like Java at all. So I actually do Python professionally in my day job. So I'm like, I can read the specs and reverse engineer, some parts of the Java code, and I actually have a working DriveWire server in Python. So that can be run on Mac, and I have gotten it to run on Windows. Brett Gordon got it to run on his Raspberry Pi, so pretty much any place you can run Python.
Oh, that's great. That's
is this the full server too, like with the networking and everything else too, or?
Yeah, it has the networking. I don't know how well it works I know it definitely works for outgoing connections. Incoming connections should work. It it actually does implement most of the DriveWire 4 protocol. So there's a bunch of things that like Bill Pierce, is it Bill Pierce, that has the M shell?
Yep.
I started to work on some of the functionality for M shell, but then I just got too busy with the day job. So
right.
So I have to ask the big question: Python 2 or Python 3?
Unfortunately, it's still Python 2. I've been working on switching it. If you have any opinions on that, I'm open to it. But
I personally don't. I know a lot of our customers do. Unfortunately, they don't always agree with each other or with us. So.
Right.
Well, that's cool. Well, we look forward to hearing more, and if feel free to jump on the show anytime if you want to give us some updates on that.
Actually, I did have a quick question for him. How much have you gotten into the Java?
How much have I got into the Java?
Just enough to know how to translate this stuff. Is that about it?
I didn't use the Java code to implement it. Actually, I sort of did my own implementation based on the DriveWire spec, and then places where things didn't work or where the spec is a little bit ambiguous. I did look at some of the Java code for a little bit of direction there. The virtual serial channels, I had to look in there some. I had to look at how it deals with the AT commands and the DW commands and things like that. So I tried to use the Java code as little as possible, but I can't say
good because you're going to find that Java is only going to reverse your ability to code well because it can't code at all.
I think some people say that about Python. Personally, I'm kind of a Python cowboy. So I just sort of go in and hack and get things. It's a good language for me to get things done. I don't particularly care about object-oriented programming or elegance. Sometimes I get things that work.
Well, believe it or not, in Python you can do something akin to object-oriented coding.
I was just going to say, Steve's waiting for the port of Java to the MC10. So.
Yeah. It's just no. I'm not a fan of Java. Not a fan, as they know, of MC10. It's just there's been a lot of problems with Java over the years, and it's not the end all that the people that use it think it is. Java is used quite a bit on set-top boxes for cable systems, and how many people around here have had a few foul words for when it's in the middle of recording one of your shows and the cable box crashes?
Yeah. Steve, I have one more thing. I'll give it back to you.
No problem.
We've been talking about Python. I started a port of MicroPython to the CoCo, but that is a huge project, and I would need like months to get that thing done. That's definitely not a 2018 thing, but I started that.
Cool. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. I took a mini class in Python a couple years ago because the place I was working at, the whole shop ran in Linux, and they did all their integration through like Python and shell scripting. So I got a crash course in Python, and it reminded me a lot of BASIC, and I had an appreciation for it. And we were doing it all in Linux, and used a couple of tools where we could actually even get some of the create like some UI type front end stuff to the Python code and everything. So yeah, it's neat, and I'd like to dabble more in that when I cross a few other things off my list.
Yeah, Python is a very easy language to translate what you have in your mind into code, and then you just type it in, and it's really easy to do interactive testing and development in Python. So because I said I do that in my day job, so I just sat down and started hacking on it, and had a lot of fun with that project. Learned a lot about DriveWire. So
neat. Yeah. Sorry, Rick. Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to mention that I've done like a Twitter bot that I wrote in Python, and I found that it was really surprisingly intuitive and easy to code in.
Neat.
That's all I got.
Mm-hmm. Neat. Let me address some breaking stuff that's coming through here on the sidebar in the on the YouTube text chat that I've just been holding off on until we had a few people finish what they were doing. But we have somebody in the YouTube chat who says his name is Ivan Richwalski, and he says, "Hi everyone, old CoCo user here. Have been catching up on the show archives. First time I'm catching the show live. So thanks for being here, Ivan. Richard Lorbieski says Python is far better than Java. Mark Overholser is greeting Ivan, so is Glenn. Richard Lorbieski says Java is the MC10 of programming languages. Richard Cavell, good. Another discussion about which programming language is better than the other, right? Nick Marotta
I'd
says...
say about that.
Yeah, Nick Marotta says Java killed my love for programming. John Linville says that there are some good things you can do in Java. So, yeah.
Might beat your head against the wall.
Nick Marotta says it's the COBOL of the 21st century. Then we're going to sit here and have a programming language debate until we're blue, right? So
I love Nick's
that's pretty
response. Cool. I love Nick's response. Java killed my love of programming.
Oh man, that's cool. That's cool. Well, we look forward to hearing more, Mikey. So yeah, anytime you want to talk about an update, feel free to jump on and share those updates with us. Very cool. Paul Fiscarelli, Now, Paul, do we say Fiscap with a hard I, or we say Fiscap? How am I supposed to be saying the Fiscap name or Fiscap name?
Fiscap is fine.
Fiscap. So I've been saying it wrong all these years.
It's just kind of a quick abbreviation username for my last name. So yes. Fiscarelli and Fiscap.
There you go. So what's new with you this week?
Not a whole lot. Been trying to get some time working on the floppy disk tools that I've showed you guys in the past. Trying to put a blog together. I had tried to get an alpha release for floppy disk tools out to the community before the holidays, but we had a whole series of house guests between Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve every weekend, so didn't have a whole lot of free time there. So just trying to get back into that and want to get something out there so people can start playing around with it, get some feedback. Right now it's a bit, as far as I think, utilitarian, and the UI probably needs a little bit of polishing. So I'm trying to figure out what fits, what doesn't, and that kind of thing. So hopefully I'll have something out there soon.
Very cool.
I was just going to ask if you've beaten Forest of Doom on level 4 yet, which hasn't even been programmed.
No, not yet. But that would be cool. And if Bruce wants to put something like to get that together, I'm up for the challenge.
That does open up the whole topic of DLC. Because I think Tim Thayer had mentioned that before. Since Jason the CoCo Man has basically beat everything in Timberman now, we need some DLC. We need some add-ons, some microtransactions and stuff like that going on in CoCo games. Cool. Yeah, well, we definitely look forward to more of your update on your Disk Explorer when that becomes available. It's going to be a very useful tool. And last and certainly least, no animosity here.
Oh, no. None at all.
Jason the CoCo Man, you son of a... So when we get to the news segment, I'll show off your little video clip because they make it like so short and sweet how you reach 375 chops. So Timberman's on your list of accomplishments this week, I take it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, we could talk about that now or later, but I did that during the Glenside meeting.
Oh, wow.
That was about my third attempt, and
okay.
My secret to it is I'm using the I guess the flight stick or pistol grip stick that was available for the CoCo. I don't remember what this is called. It's the 26-3123 joystick.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that because I the button's right here, and I can that's seemed to work best for me. But your mileage may vary. Other than that, and so the other thing I'm working on right now, and Tom on Discord really kind of started this with me, but I'm just kind of going through and looking for all the amateur radio or ham radio software that was made for the CoCo. I didn't really use much of it back then, because really when I got into ham radio, that was kind of around the time that the CoCo wasn't my primary computer that much longer after that. But I'm finding a lot of stuff out there that's I don't know how useful it is, but it would have been really neat back in the 80s for certain.
Sure. But it's good to have it on the archive for sure.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been seeing what I have and uploading it to the archive, and I've actually found some other things out there, and Tom's been looking through some of these archives of old ham radio magazines from the time, and has found some things that are mentioned, and one of them I found, of all places, on the Dragon archive. It was one of these things where it was available for the Dragon and the CoCo.
You're talking about Tom C. from New Jersey?
Right, yep, Tom C. Yep.
Yep, another ham guy.
Yeah. Yep. I see a few people in the live chat saying they're seeing some rebuffering issues or anything like that. Is anybody noticing any things going on with the live stream?
I haven't been monitoring it, but I will start.
I mean, I have it open on a window on one of my monitors here. I'm not seeing any issues that I'm seeing, but I've seen more than one comment about people saying they're having problems with the live stream or with the chat going or anything else like that. So,
and looking
not
good
sure
here.
about that.
It's been working fine. I've been monitoring it all through the the cast, and it seems to be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks
maybe
fine.
They just don't like your redecorating, Steve.
Yeah, maybe not. So, my acquisition of the week was I got a pair of Black Beauty joysticks in the box, and the box is like really clean and shiny. So, not that I have any shortage of Black Beauty joysticks, but I'm a sucker for things in the box. So, they aren't I thought they were the chrome capped ones. They're the black plastic cap ones, but it's like a mint. Shiny, glossy box that they're in, so they're just going to sit up on a shelf. So I'm a sucker for Black Beauties, and I'm a sucker for things that are still in the box. You pointed something out, Jason. Your secret weapon there is a finger trigger on the Timberman, because with the CoCo stick, you got your thumb. Depending on what you do with the Black Beauty, you got to click in the front. With the Deluxe joystick, it's on the left. And I found that my hands were cramping, trying to chop fast playing that game. So having something that's got good ergonomics, that definitely would help. And I guess there's a different stick for different game styles, and it looks like you found a good one there. So good.
That one made all the difference. I tried the Deluxe joystick. I tried the Black Beauty.
Yeah,
I don't know why anybody would want. There's very few things that those are good for. I mean, but that's what I had way back when starting out. But yeah, this just seems to work the best.
Okay. I want to see somebody try it with a trackball. That's a challenge.
Very cool.
Too easy to overshoot all the time.
Cool. All right. Well, we just finished another segment here. This was our project updates in acquisitions segment of the show. So I know Grant has got a question of the week, and I know Ron's Garage has got something he wants to show off. So we'll do another commercial break. And who wants to come up after the commercial? Grant, you want to do your commercial? I mean, your question?
Sure, that'd be fine.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with Grant's question of the week. We'll be back in just a minute, people.
Hello, my name is Grant Leighty, and I watch the original gamer, Stevie Stroh.
Hi, I'm Mike Rowan, and you're watching the original gamer, Stevie Stroh. And when you're done watching, come over and listen to the CoCo Crew podcast.
What's going on, everybody? The original gamer Stevie Stroh here, and I want to talk to you about I'mACoconut.com. If you love the color computer like I love the color computer, then you got to visit I'mACoconut.com, your one-stop shop for all of your Tandy Color Computer links needs. There you'll find links to blogs and podcasts and project sites and emulators and downloads and groups and communities. If you love the color computer, head on over to I'mACoconut.com. That's IMACoconut.com. Tell them the original gamer Stevie Stroh sent you. CoCo forever, people.
That's right. I'm CoCoNut.com for all your color computer links needs. So there you will find on the community page. You hear us talking about things when you say, well, how do I get to the Glenside website? Well, go to I'mACoconut.com. How do I find out about the CoCo Crew podcast? Go to I'mACoconut.com. You seeing a pattern here? So my whole purpose of that site was to make a cheat sheet on places to go for color computer references and resources. It started off as a page. The page got really busy, so it became a site, and there's different categories. So we've got a category for people who've got blogs and projects. We've got a category for the various communities like the Facebook groups and the color computer mailing lists and the Glenside website. So if you're getting back into the CoCo and you need to know what resources are available to you. A good one is I'mACoconut.com. And Grant Leighty, I need to change the intro slide now, since it's no longer the newbie question of the week. It's just the question of the week. We're going to skip that very, I spent thousands of dollars having that produced too. So we're going to skip out on that, and we're just going to say, ladies and gentlemen, with the question of the week, it is none other than Grant Leighty. Take it away, Grant.
Thank you, Steve. So we are getting close. I think we're less than 100 days now away from CoCo Fest. And I know there's going to be quite a few people that have been watching the show that have never attended a CoCo Fest before. And I thought it'd be kind of important to touch base on the things that people need to know when they go to CoCo Fest, what to expect, what to bring, and so forth. So I'll open this up to the panel here. One thing I will say that's important, and I think Steve will agree with me on this, make sure, if at all possible, take Monday off and stay for Sunday night. Unfortunately, I did not do this last year, and apparently I missed out on a big social event after the closing of the show and some other activities. So that was one thing I would suggest. One question I have for the panel, is it important that we bring our color computer and stuff like that with us, or do you suggest not to?
All right, a lot of questions. We got a lot of expert witnesses here. So who wants to chime in first on this one?
Well, I have something to say on that.
Okay, go ahead, John. Mark?
If it needs to be repaired, then you should bring it. If you need to do a memory upgrade, or if you need to have, the capacitors changed or something like that, bring it, and there's a chance there'll be somebody there who can repair it.
Yeah, actually, I was going to chime in on that. I'm going to be repairing CoCos and doing CPU upgrades at CoCo Fest.
That's Richard Lorbieski of Boyson Technologies, currently in the Witness Protection Program. So.
I mean, do a lot of people bring the CoCo just to set it up and play games and socialize with it, or is it mainly just to get them repaired? I didn't know if we had like things going on in the hotel rooms that people sit around and play games with it afterwards.
Well, people used to do that a long time ago. I haven't seen much of that in a while.
Well, that's because they're busy in the bars having a good one and socializing.
Well, it might be. I personally would not recommend bringing one just to bring it. If if you have a project to show or talk about, or if you have a specific problem that you're looking for help with, or like you say, if you need repairs, maybe those are good reasons to bring them. But most people there already have CoCos, so that unless you have a special one, if you have one of the Brazilian clones or something like that, you think people haven't seen. Your mileage may vary, but I personally don't think it'd be very helpful to be dragging around a CoCo unless you have a table to set something up and talk to people.
Especially if you're flying, because it takes a fair bit of your luggage space too. So,
right.
I mean, I brought my TC9 down 2 years ago. I brought my NoCan 3.8 meg upgrade version last year because those are fairly rare, and not too many people have seen them. So that's the reason I brought them down. And just to agree with John too. In the past, like in Rainbow Fest especially, there was tons of people showing stuff up in the rooms. You'd see secret projects for stuff that wouldn't be seen for 6 months. But I think that was because the shows were bigger and you couldn't get onto the show floor after the show closed down in the early evening. And a lot of people were still trying to talk about software, and there's were so many people, you didn't have time to do it on the show floor, so everybody would gather at somebody's room and kind of go through things. And that hasn't happened much the last few years either that I've seen.
Well, I think I can give you another reason to bring your CoCo. Okay, here's the scenario. You went to the show, you weren't planning on buying anything. All of a sudden, there was something new from a vendor that you didn't know was going to be there. Now, do you really want to wait until you get home to play with it? No, you want to go to your hotel room and play with that new toy.
Well, if that happens, you can buy a CoCo on site. So
yeah, and in the auction, yeah.
Well, if you buy a CoCo on site, I recommend test it out first.
Yeah.
And don't
Before
forget your
going home.
MC10. Got to bring your MC10.
Now the room's got doors, right?
So bring
You need
two
door
of them.
stops.
Yeah. Yeah, in case the whoever's giving a presentation needs help stepping up onto the stage, we can lay down a couple of MC10s too, right? So, I think you answered one of your own questions, Grant. Is that while the show ends Sunday at 3 p.m., there is a Sunday dinner, and typically at CoCo Fest, there's people hanging out after the show. Like I've typically arrived in my past 2 years very late Friday. So even though I'm getting in, it's like 9, 10 o'clock Chicago time Friday, the hotel lobby is just filled with people hanging out. And so Friday night, there's a social gathering. Saturday night, we go till midnight. I think we've got till midnight Saturday, but even after that, once we're kicked out of there, then we go back to the lobby in the hotel, and there's a bunch of people hanging out. I remember like one time it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. I'm like, dude, I got to go to bed, so I had to force myself to leave. And then Sunday, I understand it, if you have to work and you have to fly back Sunday or whatever your travel plans are, you have that. But if you can plan accordingly, what I'm going to try to do this year is I'm going to try to plan to where I can actually arrive early Friday versus later. I'm still contemplating driving. And I have planned, both times have been so far, to be there Sunday night. And I believe that was mentioned on the CoCo Crew podcast a couple years ago. They had an episode where they said what to expect if you come to CoCo Fest, because that was my first CoCo Fest, but I knew even then, plan on staying Sunday night. And I believe that first year I went, and Brother Jeremy was there too, we all went to Fuddruckers, and we just had a big section where we had a Sunday night dinner at Fuddruckers, and that was nice, So those are some things to, try to plan on spending as much time in Chicago as possible to get your most social hours as, possible.
Where did you go?
Go ahead.
Where did you go?
Fuddruckers. Fuddruckers, yes.
Now on
it's
the
a
other
hamburger chain.
Yeah, on the other side of the stuff too, you may want to get there early because Friday night is setting up your booth. And there's a lot of people there, and you might get a preview of the stuff. Now, only vendors are allowed to go in the room then, but there's the lobby, there's the bar, there's going out to grab some food with some folks. So that's the other end. You may want to consider getting there on Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The one thing I would recommend is if you do plan on buying a lot of stuff, and if anybody of you watched the live streams of the auctions in the past, you'll notice quite a bit of stuff in there. Sometimes some pretty rare items, sometimes just really good prices on items. So if you can afford the time to drive, it definitely helps with hauling stuff back than trying to pay for shipping. Because I think Steve was looking into it. Some of the stuff was going to cost $40-50 just to ship if you tried to fly back and you can't carry it all on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends. If your purpose for attending is to try to acquire stuff, I would probably drive if you can. If you're attending more for the social aspect of it, then you don't have to worry about that as much.
Now, if you are fly something like Southwest that gives you 2 bags free. That way you can have a bag that you just fill with your stuff that you bought at the auctions.
Yeah, but I think one CRT pretty well fills that up. So.
So, and that's another question too. Do a lot of the vendors, is it cash only, or do they take PayPal, credit cards? What's the normal thing for those?
It's mixed. Most people aren't really businesses anyway, and so they're not really in a position to process credit cards like with a big thunk kind of machine or anything like that.
Nobody uses a thunk machine anymore.
But
just Java programmers. Go ahead.
Well, most people take cash, of course, and most of us, have PayPal accounts, and so you can often pay with PayPal to the individual.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is bring cash.
Yeah.
Cash is king.
Yeah, cash is king, and I usually just take PayPal is fine. I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
And inside we'll be able to accept credit cards of some sort. It's not clear to me how that's going to be processed at this point because of some internal discussions. But hopefully there'll at least be an option to pay for auction items with a credit card.
That would be nice.
Look into Square Register.
Square or PayPal, any of those.
Yeah. And Square seems to be a little bit more friendly when it comes to the actual processing.
I'm not sure about that. They look about the same to me, but
I take both of them, and I find that Square is faster.
Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, hopefully we'll have something.
Okay, that'd be good. Yeah, my biggest regrets when I flew was, well, number one, I can't really buy anything I want to buy because I can't fit it in my suitcase, and then I just think the credit card adds a convenience because while yes, you should bring cash, but what if you only had so much cash and you see this one thing? Like, listen, there's been some Model 4s that have gone there. There was the Tandy 2000s. There's the entire collection of Rainbow that Neil Brookins got. There's been some really interesting things there where you might have said, listen, I only budgeted for $100, but holy crap, I need this or I want this, and I don't have the cash, but if I could swipe, then heck, that would be an impulse buy. So that would be it'd be a nice convenience and maybe even to help generate a little bit more revenue for the club,
Yeah, and you can also drive Alan Huffman to bid more for things too, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, he's always driving the price up. Actually, there's another thing. It has to do with the fest, but not. If you're looking for that little bit of extra money that you can have set aside, get your taxes done early so you got your refund.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
All right, and what about food? Because I know that at Tandy Assembly we were kind of spoiled with roosters there. So what do we do for food? What's covered there in the fest? What's not covered?
Well, you pretty much, there's a dinner Saturday night. It's a barbecue smorgasbord or whatever the right term is. Pay for the dinner, stay and hang out. The food's been pretty good the past couple of years.
Yes, it has.
So I recommend that for Saturday night.
What's the price on the dinner?
It's $20, I think. It's listed on the website, but I think it's $20. Other than that, the nearby restaurants, I kind of have mixed opinions about them. There's a fast food on that strip, and there's a couple of places across the real life Frogger game.
Yeah, ask Steve about that.
Aren't too bad, but they're a little difficult to get to on foot. Not difficult, but maybe a little dangerous to get to on foot. So I don't know. But you're on a reasonable sized strip with some options of various food options in either direction. I recommend you bring your smartphone and your Google Maps and your own preferences. So.
And usually Sunday it's a big thing where everybody kind of gathers to one or two different places and you kind of pre-plan as the weekend goes as to who's going. There's usually I think two groups. It's generally seem to be on Sundays, and then they pick two different restaurants, and then you just go from there.
Right.
And breakfast is covered, right?
Breakfast, the breakfast is part of the hotel. The breakfast buffet, that's always been pretty good. You get your waffles and your bacon and sausage links and eggs, oatmeal, things like that. I found myself making several runs to the Jimmy John's across the Frogger lanes just to grab a sub sandwich and some chips.
And you lost a life?
Yeah. In that same shopping center, right next to or a few doors down from the Jimmy John's, is a biker bar that I understand has got very good burgers, although I've never eaten them there. Then I believe on that same corner is also a Mickey D's. So right across the street from the hotel are a couple of things, and I'm sure there's other things not too far away. I didn't starve while I was there.
So a warning, though, to people who, like me, come from an area where there are no tolls on any of the roads. If you're driving, be prepared to pay some tolls.
Yes.
Including Chicago has places where you exit a road and have to pay a toll at the exit, and there's nobody manning the toll, but you're still obligated to pay. And so you got to throw your exact change into the machine or whatever.
So if you're driving, I guess bring change is another recommendation.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what the rules are, if you can't pay or whatever, if you get any freebies or what. But I'm not going to advise you on that. Other tn bring enough change that you can cover it.
And it's not cheap.
Yeah, bring $3 to $10 in change in your change scoop in your car.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I think the last 2 times I flew, and part of the rental car was I got an Easy Pass that was on the the dashboard of the vehicle, so it just got charged to the car, the electronic transponder for going through the fast lane of whatever they call their Easy Pass, or like in Florida we've got it's called the Sun Pass. So I had gotten that on the rentals, but if you're driving yourself, that's definitely a good tip. Very cool. But yeah, it seems like the time goes by too quickly. So if you can allocate as much time as possible while you're there, you'll get the most out of it.
Yeah, if you think you're going to come multiple years, or if you have been coming multiple years, however you like to go, I do advise trying to figure out the lay of the land, find some places around that you enjoy, get there a little early, stay a little late, maximize the trip, because just fly there and fly back, or drive there and drive back, it'll kill you. It's it's really rough, especially on an old man like me. But I used to, when we were at the old location in Elgin, for several years I flew and got a rental car, and I figured out a back way to get there from O'Hare that I didn't have to pay any tolls. And I found a restaurant with a microbrewery restaurant along the way, and I just would make a big thing of stopping there and have lunch on the day before CoCo Fest or whatever. So I made a little adventure out of it. It was great. It's fun. So if you can figure out how to do something similar, I highly recommend it.
There you go. I think the first year I arrived too, somebody had ordered a handful of pizzas. I think that was the year Lee Patterson was there. And when I got there late that Friday night, there was a handful of Chicago pizzas that were going around. So there might be a place you can order in if anybody's interested in trying some of that world-famous Chicago pizza.
Got to get some deep dish.
That's it. That's a good question, Grant. Yeah, any other questions anybody has about CoCo Fest, or any other slivers of information anybody wants to chime in with?
Can John forward his trip plan from O'Hare to the location?
I can try to figure that out again. But,
I would be interested.
I'll see if I can reconstruct that.
Okay. Very, very cool.
I recommend going to Google Earth and putting in the address of the Fairfield Inn in Lombard, and you can get this aerial view of the hotel, and you can zoom out a little bit and switch the angle around, and you can see where the Heron Point building is in relation to the Fairfield Inn.
We've got a question. Does the hotel offer food itself? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I've never ordered room service from the place, but is there like a bar and grill or anything like that on site?
I don't believe so. I think it was pretty much, call like Domino's Pizza and stuff like that, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they'd have something, but I think it's maybe not open on the weekends or something kind of crazy like that. Like I have a facility of some sort, but I don't think it's open for us.
I thought they served breakfast, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you wanted to order lunch or dinner from the hotel, I would be curious to know if that's an option.
Now, they do have that little convenience store that you can charge things to your room.
Yeah.
Junk food.
Cool. And by the way, John, I like the fact that you're running Bomb Threat in the background there. That looks good.
Yeah.
That's
looks good to me.
Yeah. Yay, capitalism.
And I'll wrap up on one last question. Was there any mistakes that the people have gone before multiple times, any mistakes you would tell us newbies not to do?
Don't talk to David Ladd.
During the jam session, make sure to throw the extra coins you don't need for tolls into our guitar cases and stuff there so we can busk properly.
Yeah, shipping that musical equipment's expensive.
Yeah.
It'll be talking to David Ladd will be the best 3 hours of your life on floppy disk. So,
Mark, you're attending this year, right?
I'm planning on it. Yes.
And this will be your first CoCo Fest?
Yep.
Okay, it'll be good to meet you in person.
Looking at airfares, looking at lodging. What am I doing?
We've got to do some hazing.
A little bit of apple hazing.
Hey, we got some new people there. We got to haze them.
Yeah, some mistakes. Yeah, drunken auctioning, right? Don't drink and bid.
No, do that.
Especially if Alan is bidding against you.
Right.
Yes. I
totally did not need this bag of ink cartridges. Why did I buy it?
Where did I get this pallet of MC10s?
I paid $1,000 for my MC10.
Oh man, but it was vintage and rare. So
please do not donate used ink cartridges to the auction, or else I have.
But they're vintage.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's going to be dueling auctioneers again this year. So is it Jason Timone from the Vintage VCF Midwest? Will he also be helping with the auction this year?
It's Jason Timmons.
Timmons.
I haven't got any confirmation that he'll do it, but I imagine he would be willing to.
God bless you, man.
I think Tony can kind of lose his voice a little bit, and he's kind of getting hard of hearing. So, and sometimes Tony wants to bid on the item, and since he's an auctioneer, he can't.
I mean,
so
keep it interesting.
We came up with this idea of tag team auctioneering, where he can tag Jason, and then Jason can take his...
Right. Yeah, I think that worked out pretty good last year. Very, very cool. So have we beat this one to death?
Yeah,
Mark, you're on Linville.
I don't think it's to death, but I think it's wiggling. It's kind of wiggling there.
Okay. All right, well, we'll take another quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll hear from Ron Delvaux. Yeah. Okay, we'll be right back, people.
This is Lee Patterson, author of Bouncy Ball, and you're watching the original Gamer TV Show.
Hey, have you got your CoCo 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Ram and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer.
What's everybody, Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
I need to fire my producer. All right, so Ron Delvaux of Ron's Garage, and in this case here, it's Ron's guest bedroom.
Ready.
I'm going to introduce you with your really kick-ass soundtrack here, so hold on here, people. This is a professional show. Ladies and gentlemen, straight from the guest bedroom, it is Ron Delvaux with Ron's Garage. Take it away, Ronnie.
Hello, everybody. I think my lens is crappy. You see that?
Yeah, you're in soft focus.
You're in soft. There you go.
There you go.
The bouncing ball looks good. There you go. It's lovely.
Yeah. So, I have a screen to share. I'm going to try. Let's see what happens. Share screen. This one. Am I sharing it?
You are sharing it. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, I have 21 color computers and,
and a foot.
And a foot. Yeah. And
one doesn't have a keyboard.
Yeah, I took it out.
Now we know why there's a shortage.
Yeah, I had mentioned on Facebook that if you were once into the computer and then got rid of it, sold it, maybe even throw it away. This is where it wound up in somebody's backyard.
I like
Man, all those CoCo ones have paint on them still.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, you should have moved them a little forward so they could get that beautiful suntan of yellow.
No, I did on purpose. You see where it's coming in? See over there?
Yeah, you see it's coming in. It's creeping up.
So now how do I get out of this now?
I like the fact you have a marked Data Products keyboard in one of them, too.
Yes. It's beautiful, isn't it?
That was my favorite.
So Ken Make It asked, how many MC10s do you have?
4.
4.
Yeah,
4.
They're not in the shot because they're busy holding doors open inside the house. So.
Yeah, and I have plenty of doors. All right, I wanted to show you my 22nd acquisition of a CoCo.
Okay.
And that is this baby.
Yes, the Raspberry Pi, the CoCo
Yes,
Pi.
I now have a Pi. And
Neat.
I wondered if you noticed your favorite input device there.
Yes, the Black
which
Beauty.
appears to be connected to it.
Oh, yes, it does.
But it's not. It's just sitting there.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. Okay, so I have this running on here. I was going to set this down here and then show you how I operate it because I've just learned I have to give thanks to Ron Klein. He helped me. Well, this is still CoCo, right? So I can do this?
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right.
you can. And this
All right,
looks like
so
the
let's
CoCo
get
3
screen
patch
arranged
version
here.
here. Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to exit out. This is the kind of screen you get.
Uh-huh.
You boot it up. That's actually one further back. But there's so many choices. Look at them. Look at all the choices.
Even got Fusix in there.
Yeah. So just for fun, I'm going to load this one in and show you what it's like. And
The RGB DOS with 255 different floppies mounted in it.
yeah, Robert Galt set this up, this particular one. And this is the screen you get. And then it has a hard drive on it. And I'm going to go to hard drive number slot 55. I don't know what you would call this. And then they have this command called run M.
Yeah, which is actually from ADOS days, too.
Quote. In this case. I know it's boring, sorry.
It's okay.
And 55 for the drive number, and then voila. I think it runs at 7 megahertz. Something like that. But I don't know if... and then what you're also missing is the sound. Oh, shoot, I turned it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's just that easy.
No, it's just the screen. I was going to turn the volume up so you can hear the sound. Puyan has an interesting song that plays.
Yeah. Is this the ease of use edition of the CoCo Pi?
Yes, there it is. I don't know if you can hear it.
Yeah, we hear it.
Anyway, the screen is so clear because it's HDMI.
Yeah, yeah.
It is
nice.
perfect. It is so nice. And that is all I have for you guys. And that's all I can pretty much do is use that one part of CoCo. I've learned to go through the menus. If you hit escape, and then you go back and you hit a different thing, there's all these menus you can go to. You can go to, I think it's MAME.
Yeah, it's MAME.
And has a file manager. You can load up a floppy. There's all kinds of interesting things.
Yeah, it's a great project, and I've been holding off doing any videos on there because I really want to get Ron Klein on that because
he's the one.
Yeah, so Ron didn't necessarily invent this, but he's kind of packaged it the way it is now. So Chris Hawks has been doing this for a while now too. He's had at CoCo Fest for many years now. The Raspberry Pi running a CoCo emulator. But Ron Klein has kind of created this image that we're running on now that we call the CoCo Pi, and he's been maintaining it and updating it. So There is a lot of neat things you can do with it. Rick Adams has been using it for quite some time. He's developing on it.
Yeah. Rick would have helped me, but he had troubles with his family and everything.
Yeah,
and I must say, it cost me $42 for the Pi, and then for $10 I bought a 16 gig card, and it was really smooth. I also downloaded Raspbian, and it has Chromium on there, and you can surf the web with it on a. You know, you just have to change out those little teeny tiny mini SD card things.
Right.
But pretty cool stuff. So,
well, two notes for our folks that are new to the Raspberry Pi. You're going to find that you don't want to use Class 10 SD cards. You're going to want to use Class 4 if you can find them. It'll actually make the Raspberry Pi run faster when it does the I/O. The other thing is never, ever just pull the plug on the unit when you go to power it down. You run the risk of messing up your SD card. You want to go through the proper shutdown sequence and then kill the power. Actually, I usually remove the SD card when I power up and down, just as safety precaution.
What do you have, Steve?
Oh, I use Raspberry Pis for video, imagery. Basically, I've got something in a haunt, and I want to run a projection for a ghost that appears in the middle of nowhere. And I use them because I can trigger the video and stuff like that. But I've been thinking about putting together a nice Raspberry Pi. Most of the time that I play around with the CoCo, I actually run it on a full main that's on a PC.
Yeah, well, it does have a couple of MC10 stuff on there too, so you have to stay away from that.
Well, so much for me wanting to do anything with the Raspberry Pi CoCo.
That just ruined it for him, like Java ruined programming for the other guy.
It's just the menu. You can flip right by the menu. The other thing is...
we can flip something.
We were talking about going to this CoCo Fest and bringing a CoCo, and all you need is a monitor, a keyboard, and mouse, and the little box you can stick in your pocket and go.
Raspberry Pi, yeah. If you want to show something off, definitely.
Yeah. Or software.
So, actually, Ron Delvaux, what you've just showed here is an example of Fusion, which is the theme this year. Because you just showed off that you've got 21 real CoCos, and now you're using a new fangled technology device here, the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. Right? Actually, someone asked if they're unique, individual collections of things. And actually, some of the stuff I had gotten from somebody else, and an occasional CoCo would come to me. Somebody would know somebody, and they say, I'm not using mine. Do you want it? And I go, sure. And they give it to me. And they all have unique serial numbers.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're just what I have. And I think I have a 4K gray case and a 16K. They're not extended basic or anything of CoCo ones, and then I've got 2 or 3 of them that are 64Ks. One that was upgraded, and the one with the nice keyboard on it is 16K. I'd love to take that keyboard and put it on a 64K, but it has a strange ribbon coming off of it. And so the hookup to the keyboard is unique to I think there's an adapter or something on it. I'll have to look at it again.
Hey, Ron, anyway. I know about that one. My CoCo 1, which I don't have up here at the moment, but I actually got one of those keyboards. I think they're the CoCo 2 keyboards, or the ones that came in the bags that people keep talking about. But I got it at a flea market. And I made my own adapter from the flat mylar ribbon cable to the pins on the CoCo 1. I made it myself. Maybe I can open that guy up and take a picture of it for you.
Oh, cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
So, Ron, you planning on being at CoCo Fest this year?
Yes, I have my reservations, and I'm trying to figure out what flight to take and how to to come Friday, or maybe even Thursday, and leave Monday or something. Since you're saying you should stay longer, and I'm not a party guy. I don't drink or anything, but
the social aspect is still good.
Sure.
Yeah, the Sunday night dinner isn't a drinking thing. It's a gathering to eat and just share stories.
Yeah.
I don't drink either, but it's just fun to watch the guys that are drunk.
I'm an old guy, so we have our stories and love to. And if I've already told them, I'll just repeat them.
Yeah,
and repeat them and repeat them.
Yeah, David Ladd dances on tables when he has a few in him, so that's always a good one.
Yeah, in a tutu, from what I've heard. But
so, Ron, on your CoCo ones, which board revisions do you have?
I don't know. I have to open them up. I have one case. I opened up. It was serial number 16, and we looked in there, and it was a D board. No. I can't remember. It's written in the
16 is probably a D, I'm guessing.
It was written, or I have pictures of it on the CoCo Facebook. If you scroll way down to when we talked about it, I had pictures of it. And I guess the guys thought that maybe the board was replaced at one time because it wasn't a F board, which is everybody's trying to look at an F board somehow. Are they rare?
F board was the last revision. It's actually probably the most common, I would think. Then the E, and then B was the early ones, and then I had never seen a C before until was it Richard? Was it you that has a C?
Yeah, I have a C.
Cool.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you, Steve.
I have the 4K CoCo I have, which has the black going around the edge, close to the edge. That one may have an interesting board in there, being that it's so old.
Yeah. I got to say, Ron, your new headset sounds good, too.
Oh. Yep.
Clean.
Yep.
Very clean. Yeah.
This was a Goodwill. It's Turtle Beach thing, and it was for a game thing, and I got an adapter for it for $2 at Fry's Electronics. Okay. When I bought the headset for $40 because I wanted to use the headset, but it turns out that adapter made this work, so I took it back.
There you go.
And got
David
the pie.
Ladd,
That's how I got the pie.
David Ladd joined us in the live chat. He says, hello. Well, he says, I'm on my way home now, so he might not be still watching. But David's on his way home. He had something to do today.
Hey, a cool thing you could do for David is every one of us, if we bring a bunch of floppies for him. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, we can make it rain. Make it rain floppies.
Yeah. Good.
Cool. All right, cool. Are we done with your segment now there,
Yeah,
Mr.
pretty
Delvaux?
much. I just wanted to say, as many CoCos as you see, I have probably a couple of thousand floppies. And
wow.
I've gone through some of them over time, and I've got a tall cabinet of, drawers with them all in there. And a lot of them are copies. I was anal about making copies of everything to make sure I had, backups so that I had things.
Right.
Most of the suckers still work. It's rare when I don't have any that work. It's just amazing that they've been okay, and they're sitting in a plastic cabinet, which I thought maybe somehow the static electricity would bother them or whatever, but they haven't.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Hey, Ron, do you ever run across just a non-working CoCo 1? I'm looking for its case. The old-fashioned gray case.
No, not yet.
Okay. Just keep your eye out for that, because what I want, my dream is to make a real deluxe color computer.
Oh. With the thing on top?
Excuse me?
No, that was the CoCo 4 case you're thinking of, Ron.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, the Deluxe is the one that has the built-in serial ports and 128K RAM and a new 32K ROM basic and the sound chip.
Do they have a wider case?
No, it's basically the same as the CoCo 1 case, the longer one, not like the CoCo 2.
So, Steve, you just need a CoCo 1 case. It doesn't matter condition or anything like that.
Well, let's have a nice condition so that it comes off as something new.
Okay. Right. Well, no, I'm talking about. It doesn't have a keyboard. I think the standoffs, everything are still there.
Right.
I might have one somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, talk to me later on Discord, because do want to get my hands on that. I don't think I'll have it ready for the CoCo Fest this year, but kind of want to put together hack some hardware together and make what that machine would have done.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's scratched up, but other than that, I don't think it's broken anywhere. But I'll have to look.
Okay, thank you.
Well, for the following year, can we look forward to a deluxe MC10 by any chance?
I'm
it'll have a 6809.
I'm so glad you can't see my video right now, or else you'd see how my hand is raised.
And one particular finger in particular.
All right, well, we're going to take another quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll do some news from around the world. Be right back.
Hey, this is John Strong. Bleep, bleep, bleep. Blooper time. You're watching the Original Gamer TV Stroke.
Hello, this is David Ladd, and you're watching Original Gamer Stevie Stroh.
Radio Shack's store-wide manager's red tag sale is on now. We've slashed prices 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Save on famous Radio Shack hi-fi, car stereo, radios, toys, TV games, calculators, walkie-talkies, and CB radios. Look for the big red tag. Save like never before on these and literally hundreds of red tag specials. Hurry into Radio Shack today.
What's going on, everybody? Stevie Stroh, and I want to say thank you for continuing to watch and listen to CoCoTALK. We love doing this show. We think we put together a pretty good show for you, but this show could be better with your help. So if you would like to send a feedback, a comment, a suggestion, a show topic, or maybe even your own little segment or bumper, then send it to us via email to CoCoTALK@CoCoTALK.live. This show would be nothing without you. Love to hear from you. There we go. I was overachieving today, recording a bunch of new crappy commercials. Ivan Richwalski says, my collection is my original white case 32K CoCo 1 and older 4 or 16K silver CoCo 1 and a 512K CoCo 3 and an MM1. Wow, nice collection there, Ivan. That looks pretty good. Very, very cool. Well, I came across a couple of things that I just threw together on from pulling up the Facebook group today. One of them is kind of a repeat of Ron Klein's video of the Retro Pi, but we got a video that was posted by Craig Marshall in the Facebook group showing his Retro Pi thing too. I think something I completely forgot to do too. So before we get back to Facebook, let's just do the quick feedback and things like that. So number one, what I do want to say is we have gotten a pretty good amount of downloads on the podcast since the last episode. I think we were just shy of 3,900 a week or so ago. We are now at 4,200, so we're crossing some pretty cool thresholds. I thought crossing the 4,000 download threshold was pretty good. Now that we're at 4,200 downloads, that's pretty good. I posted a handful of videos, some of them new, some of them recycled, but I did put together a playlist of all the new color computer games that I've reviewed over the past couple of years. So they're now on the new I'm a Coconut channel. So you'll be able to see Farfall, when we were talking about that for a couple of years ago for CoCo Fest 25. That was also an interview with John Linville and Xmas Rush. And Follow CoCo. I got a review of Bouncy Ball, of Bomb Squad, Popstar Pilot, Flood It, Pac-Man Transcode, Bomb Threat, a little bit more Farfall, the Donkey Kong remix, and then Timberman. So and we've got Forest of Doom, which we've done a few times now. So I've tried to put together a nice, concise playlist of all the new color computer games. There's been quite a few that have come out these past couple of years, and we're looking forward to new ones. And we've gotten some decent comments on that too. So Glenn Taylor was commenting on the Timberman video. Nice try, Stevie. I know how you feel. Great game. Alan Huffman, because I put some bloopers at the end of that video, said best ending so far. Glenn Hewlett, fun game, and yeah, I had a good laugh at the end. Glad you included that. Rogelio says that was fun to watch. We got I posted a video that I recorded from Richard Lorbieski when he was upgrading a CPU, which we recorded at Tandy Assembly, and a person commented here saying, be careful when you plug the CPU into the socket. Sometimes you can fold a pin on an IC. So a little bit of feedback there. on some of the more recent videos. Some of the stuff I came across on Facebook. Number one was this Raspberry Pi video, which we've just seen. I posted a link to this playlist of all the new Color Computer games here. This one I thought was kind of interesting, where Carlos Camacho showed a picture where he posted where he was informed. I think Richard, you helped him out on this, but he found a new RF can, and with this can, he was able to get a really nice RF output from a color computer. I mean, that is super clean. So that was kind of cool to see. And for anybody who's got an old CoCo, this might be an easy upgrade.
Yeah, the place was out in San Francisco, and they are new old stock Aztec RF modulators, and they were used in the CoCo ones.
Okay. And so what makes these ones look better, though? Is it just because you're replacing the old stuff? Because I don't remember a new CoCo ever looking this clean.
It might just the way that they are aligned. I haven't put one in yet, so I don't know. But it just, maybe these were better tolerances or something. I have no idea.
I wonder if it's also because nobody's broadcasting VHF anymore, because you used to get interference from any channels around 3 and 4, and maybe since that's disappeared off the airwaves, maybe the picture's better nowadays too. I haven't tried.
That's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I do notice that even on an old CoCo, if you use a nice shielded cable in the like RF to F connector without the switch box, it does come through a little cleaner too. I'm trying to find Jason's video. Here's Jason's video of him actually doing the 375 chops on Timberman, and it went pretty quick. I mean, surprisingly, it didn't take him that long. He got it done a lot quicker than I spent like over an hour playing the game trying to do it. But here we can watch Jason just, and by the way, this is Ron Delvaux here doing this too. So, but he's just chopping the hell out of this, and he got that 375 chops pretty quickly there. You're a busy
Just
guy,
barely.
Ron.
And this is with your pistol grip joystick, correct?
Right, yep.
Now this one you
sleep
recorded
good.
through the composite, right? Because the
this
colors
is
are a
for
little bit off.
Yeah, the composite colors are a little off, but this was done through the composite output.
It looks pretty clean though for composite.
Yeah, and I was just this is when I was listening to the Glenside meeting the other night. I just multitasking. This was about my third attempt when I got everything set up to record it. So if I'm going to do this, I want to have a recording of it.
Just to rub it in our faces, of course, but
mostly Steve's face, but
I will have to say, it was priceless watching Steve's video, and then all of a sudden he calls Jason a douchebag.
Oh, that was great. I wasn't expecting that, and I got a good laugh. Among all the other things, I was getting a good laugh out of that video.
The struggle is real.
I want to come to CoCo Fest with the shirt and the pants, and I was just thinking I could probably not bring my hatchet on the.
you might have to pick one up in Chicago.
Yeah, get one at a hardware store, right?
Yeah.
Get one of those cheap like Harbor Freight hatchets or something.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. You died at exactly 375. That's classic.
It got really fast there at the end. You could see the timer was getting very short.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I got a question to you guys. I've been drawing on CoCo Max and putting up the picture and doing the file available. Does anybody actually download that stuff, or do you want me to keep doing that, or should I give up? You don't care? Okay.
I'm waiting for the response. Did you guys hear the question? Because Ron's posting disk images of some of the images he's creating.
I haven't had a chance to yet, and actually the view utility that's going to be part of the EOS, the 639 version, I broke CoCo Max 3 viewing, so actually I might use some of Ron's new pictures here to test it when I start getting back into it. So I will be downloading some.
Okay. It's something to do that's current, and then you can download it and say, "Oh, look at there."
Are you going to do any fancy palette animation ones too, or?
I haven't messed with it yet. I've done it in the past, but something to play with. Yeah.
That was a question I was going to have. Where are we standing on the Rainbow magazine?
We're not. I haven't worked on it in a while, but I will again. I have a couple of things that I've stored up to actually get working on it. And a lot of it's... I'm waiting for some of the game people to give me a synopsis of their stuff so I can put it in there. The Doom one, Bruce, is that his name?
Ford Doom, yeah.
He said he was busy right now, but he'll get back to me and do a little paper and have some pictures that I can put together for that. And then the other thing is, the online Rainbow that you set up, Steve, has some articles that I'd like to bring over too.
Of course.
So, I usually work in sessions. I'll take and set up and do it most of the day and get a lot of it done, and then do it on consecutive days, and then I'll take a break for a while because it gets to be pretty mind-numbing,
Right. Well, Brian Joyce, who's with us in Australia, just noticed that David Ladd joined us, and he said the star of the CoCo Films production Floppy Life, David Ladd, has just joined us, everybody.
Good.
Welcome, David.
Hello.
And by the way, Brian, I can't thank Brian enough for both of his Best of CoCo Talks, Volume 1 and Volume 2. I posted Volume 2 last week, or like right after we released our other episode. I don't think it's gotten a lot of views yet, but it really needs to. You guys, you got to watch the Best of CoCo Talk Volume 2. I mean, both of them. They're just really, really, really good. I mean, Brian has actually found a way to take this crappy show and make it entertaining. So through creative editing.
He deserves a raise.
Yeah.
So when do we get the best of shows?
The best of the best of. Yeah, we need to work on that. So, hey, David, welcome to the program. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
And what's new and exciting with you this week?
Absolutely nothing.
That's not quite true. He helped with the getting the 6809 EOS thing out finally.
Well, I'm just trying to be the lurker again, in the shadows, so no one sees me. You're not helping, Curtis.
Sorry, go ahead, John. Linville?
I just said he had to go and make it weird.
It's always weird.
That is kind of his function around here. So
yeah. Well, we talked about CoCo Fest, David Ladd. You are planning on attending, yes?
As long as everything goes as planned, yes.
There you go. It wouldn't be a CoCo Fest without you.
2-2-0.
I'm bringing a bottle of rum, too.
Hey, David, hopefully you and I attending is not going to cause people that are on the fence not to go.
Yeah, I guess, because I could scare people off faster than... Yeah.
Yeah, because the two of you can demonstrate the new floppy drive controller for the MC10, so...
I'm so glad I'm not displaying video.
Speaking of Ron's artwork, Ron Delvaux has just put up one of his pictures. Yeah, I do like your artwork, Ron. You're a very good artist, and you do some cool stuff on the CoCo. So, yeah, here we go. Here's some of Ron's
just craziness,
stuff.
Doodling.
Yeah, neat. All right. Well, I've covered news. We've covered CoCo Fest. We've done our segments. Anything else we need to talk about this week? Or we about ready to wrap this one up? Anything you want to share with us, David, since you just got here?
No, I just keep pulling weird stuff out of the hat like normal. Last week, I think it was last week, right? When I said something about MAME emulators and the 6809 cores not handling the instruction. Well, I found out that the CoCo 3 FPGA project does the same thing.
Wow.
We need a new segment called This Week David Breaks
Yeah, right. Now that's the Gary Becker one, right? The FPGA. Yes. Now, is it safe to assume that that's probably also broken in the Roger Taylor DEC Nano?
Now, what's funny is Bill Noble said that he tested it and it worked as expected there. So,
And I think he's using the Greg Miller-based 6809 core, which I don't know if Gary Becker's is. That might have something to do with it.
Okay, different core.
I have something for people that are listening or typing in, and stuff. Go to Facebook to show your color computer and paste what you have. Put it up there. Show what you got, even if it's just the one, MC10 hookup. Or,
Yeah, that's a neat little group he's created. Ron Delvaux has created this group called Show Us Your Color Computer, and it's just you post your pictures of your CoCo collections or anything unusual. So, so definitely suggest you do that.
It's fun.
It's on my list, just down about 75 or so.
Put 112 in mine.
So, and the purpose of this test you were saying before, David, is number one, you were just trying to learn something and test something on your own, but you were trying to write a routine to determine if the software was running on a 6809 or 6309. And it turns out that most of the emulators did not emulate the processor's operations properly for this test to work. So you just discovered something else that needs to be patched, and that progress is underway, right?
Yeah. Actually, Curtis told me about this trick. See, I'm giving you credit, Curtis. And it's where you basically the instruction clear D on the 6309 has 2 bytes for the instruction, and one is a 10 hex and the other one's a 4F hex. And on the 6809, the 4F hex is a clear A. And the 10 hex, which precedes it, is some page instruction set?
It's a pre-byte. There was 2 pre-bytes on the 6809 to do extended instructions, 10 and 11 hex. And if it's a 10 and then it's a legal opcode, it'll execute whatever that instruction is. And if it's a 10 with an illegal opcode, it's supposed to just skip that byte as if it was an OOP. But that's not what the emulators are doing.
Yeah, so
that made perfect sense.
Yeah.
We gotta teach you assembly.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to say something too to Ken Make It, who I just found out recently. That's Jason's brother. But Ken had been leaving comments on a lot of my CoCo videos over the years for quite a while. So since this is the first time I'm kind of speaking to you almost live, Ken, I just want to say thank you for watching those videos and leaving comments on them. Thanks, Ken. And I apologize that you have Jason as your brother.
Hey! Hey, I told him you said hello. I did that.
Well, I get to say it now myself. No, that's cool. That's cool. So we have at least 2 pair of CoCo brothers, right? We got Paul and Tim Thayer, and we got Jason and Ken. So a couple of sets of CoCo brothers.
Yeah, I think Paul and his brother already have that name for their little software thing, though. So
yeah,
they got that first.
There you go. Brian Joyce says that, Jason, you are the new David Ladd.
I just can't be that creepy. I'm sorry.
Better him than me.
You just have to work at it. It comes naturally with time.
Oh, my God.
They do look similar.
They do look similar.
I think Jason needs to add a few more pounds first.
And those cool shades.
Those cool shades.
Hey, Jason, you and Ken could be the CoCo brothers, too. You know, the other CoCo brothers? No, not those CoCo brothers. The other CoCo brothers.
Yes.
And my other brother, Daryl.
The other. That's
is that the Daryl joke?
Yeah.
You guys, this show is becoming CoCoTALK After Dark. The only 2 things are missing is dark and the drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we could make
the other off-the-wall comments I make.
We could make David Ladd and Grant Leighty the CoCo mothers.
Oh, God.
Well, you just brought up a good possibility. Maybe if anybody's up for it, maybe we will do a drinking episode of CoCoTALK After Dark tonight. I'm going to take my daughter to see the new Jumanji movie, and I think it starts at like 7 p.m. my time, so it probably wouldn't be till like 10. It would be later. But if anybody's around, you guys want to try a CoCoTALK After Dark, I'm down for that. I got a couple bottles of beer left. So.
Sure. I'm game.
Excellent. All have to warm up.
Yeah.
I'll have to stop at the liquor store.
There you go. All right, so have we beat this one to death? Are we about done with CoCoTALK this week?
I don't know. Did you bring in the cattle prod yet?
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna run one more commercial because I recorded a few things today. I want to see if it's gonna play, and then we'll say our goodbyes and we'll get ready for next week's episode and possibly a CoCoTALK After Dark. Oh, Alan Huffman, who just joined us in the live chat recently, says he might join us tonight in CoCoTALK After Dark too. All right.
Yay.
Let's see if
What time would that be?
It's probably going to be, I'm going to be guessing like my time, like 10 o'clock or something, or maybe a little after.
Okay.
10 Eastern.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if my latest crappy commercial is going to come up here. Be right back.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
Hi, this is John Linville.
And Neil Blanchard.
We are the CoCo crew. I hope you're enjoying watching Stevie Stroh play video games, especially the CoCo games. And when you're done with that, check out our podcast at CoCoCrew.org.
At home, at the beach, in your car, at the shop, at the office, anywhere you enjoy fine audio programming. It's North America's premier source for color computer news, the CoCo Crew Podcast.
This is John Linville.
And Neil Blanchard.
And we are the CoCo Crew. I hope it's going to be a great show.
Join John and Neil each month as they bring the latest news about the color computer, Dragon, MC10, and others. It's the CoCo Crew Podcast. Visit www.cococrew.org and listen today.
You're listening to the CoCo Crew Podcast.
All right. Well, we didn't have my crappy commercial. We had a good commercial there for the CoCo Crew Podcast. And speaking of the CoCo Crew Podcast, since we have the host of it with us here, Mr. John Linville, is there anything you can tell us what we might have to look forward to this month for the January episode?
Not really.
About an hour's worth of news, probably.
Well, I'm trying to play the news segment right now. I don't think it'll be too out of control, but we'll probably be recording in the next couple of days. I have a potential interview that I haven't really nailed down, but I think it will be cooperative. So we may have an interesting interview. We'll see.
Okay. Well, we always look forward to it. So I have a couple of guilty pleasures now. Besides listening to the CoCo Crew, I just started listening to audiobooks. I have finished Ready Player One. Thoroughly enjoyed that. That was probably the best 20 hours of my life. And now I'm starting Armada. Also, Ernest Cline as read by Will Wheaton. I'm become a fan of both these people, and so now I'm listening to Armada, and a lot of similarities there with 80s references and video games and things like that. So, so I'm listening to audiobooks, and I'm looking forward to the CoCo Crew podcast. Another guilty pleasure.
When do you listen to them, Steve?
When I'm in the car, because I do a lot of driving during the day, and I have to drive 45 minutes to teach my classes, so I usually listen at that time now too. So I get a good couple hours a day of audiobook time in.
So that's why you haven't been on Discord going to and from work lately.
Yeah, I was going to notice that too. Yeah.
I've listened to the first half hour of the CoCo Crew podcast for about 7 or 8 different ones because after the first half hour, I fall asleep.
Well, what do? You start listening to them at midnight?
Yeah, no, I go to bed, turn it on.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. I did the same thing. Trying to listen to if I listen to something, I fall asleep.
Yeah,
I can't listen in bed. I have to be listening while I'm on the road. Yeah. I did the same thing with the book too. I was trying to listen to the book at
do
night.
not listen while you're driving. It'll put you to sleep and have an accident.
Yeah.
Our show will. All right. Very, very cool. So we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to go around the room. Does anybody have anything they want to plug? And does anybody have anything they want to possibly suggest for us to talk about next week? Mark Overholser. Okay. I can't hear you, Mark.
Sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
No, nothing again. I'm working on stuff, but nothing to say at this time. So
okay,
glad
nothing
to be here.
Nothing to see here. Moving along.
Yep.
Okay. John, Mark, Mobley. Any closing remarks you'd like to leave us with this week?
Well, the good news is, even though not everyone can make it to the CoCo Fest, it will likely be recorded by, I'm hoping, Stevie Stroh, and you can watch maybe the presentations even if you miss the show, or if you come to the show and you miss some of the presentations because you want to see the booths instead, then know that there's a good chance that the presentations will be recorded.
Well, there is plenty of time in the show to see the booths and everything. I mean, you can go during my talk,
Grant Leighty, besides breaking your computer today, is there anything else you want to leave with or any seeds you want to plant for next week?
Well, I have a video that I made for my Dragon unboxing, so hopefully we'll be sharing that with you guys next week.
Okay, cool, very cool. Maybe we can air it as a segment.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, look forward to that because I haven't unboxed mine yet either.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I actually enjoyed it. I didn't really want to unbox it, but I was like, why did I spend $200 and not unbox it? So,
all right, cool. Steve Bjork.
Oh, still working on my stuff, but if you want to get a little taste of what can go on at CoCo Fest, especially the late night hours stuff, definitely stop by Discord that Steve's put together here. We almost every night seem to have a few people drop in and chit chat and shoot the breeze and all.
Yep.
Very true. And
everybody's welcome.
Yeah. On my Original Gamer channel, I have the past 2 years CoCo Fest. Pretty much all of the events have been are able to be replayed. So we've got a couple years worth of CoCo Fest and Tandy Assembly able to be seen there. So if you're not sure what it's like, check out some of those videos. The best way I can explain CoCo Fest is it's kind of a combination of a TED Talk and exhibitor area and just social hour, and Bruce Morse even said it has almost kind of like an art fair vibe to it. So it's very low key. There's lots to do. There's a little something for everyone. You can do a lot, you can do a little, but you can just hang out with some kindred spirits. So CoCo Fest is best experienced live and in person.
Yes,
whenever possible. Yeah. Paul Fiscarelli with Child in tow. How are we?
Good. Nothing more to add on my side. Hoping that I'll have a little bit more content for next week. Get a blog pulled together and post a couple videos and possibly share that with the community.
Good deal. All right. Mute that microphone. Jason, the beater of games.
That makes me sound abusive. I don't know.
Jason and the Argonauts.
Like I said, I'll be updating the blog at cocoman.org for everything there.
Not to be confused with .omg, right? So it's
right.
cocoman.org for all your Coco Man needs.
like anyone has any.
And Ron Delvaux, any parting thoughts? Anything you want to talk about for next week?
A couple things. I'm learning OS 9 some, and I've been putzing around, going through, and I think I need some help with commands, to go back and forth in directories and stuff. I need that. Then the other thing is Roger Taylor is wanting to get submissions for the CoCo TV. So, and if somebody has something that they can, give to him to put on the television, that would be cool. because he needs content. I saw that earlier. Thought I'd pass it along.
I'm still looking forward to seeing that at some point in time. I tell you what, another reason why I probably want to get a Roku now too is that not only for the CoCo channel, but I've been hanging out in a lot of sports bars lately, and they have this show, this thing that's called Chive TV, and all they do is they show like all these like YouTube videos of people like doing stupid things and crashing into walls and hurting themselves and stuff. And it's the best thing ever. It is the best. It's the best television. And this Chive TV also plays on Roku, so. I have two reasons now to look into getting a Roku.
That'll make time go by.
yeah.
Sounds like Jackass.
Yeah, it is. It's the real life version of Jackass. Yeah. Curtis Boyle, what do you got to plug, or what are some seeds you can plant for next week?
Well, the first thing I should ask Ron, if you want a version of Nitrous 9 that actually has a lot of the stuff set up with help and stuff and kind of pre-set up, if you want to join the alpha program, fire me a line and an email address I can send it to, and I'll send it to you.
Okay, cool.
Do it in Discord.
I believe there are 3 words that can best describe that version.
What could those be?
Ease of use.
Yes, ease of use edition. And John Linville, any parting thoughts, words of wisdom, advice?
CoCoFest is coming.
It is.
It's coming. Once it's gone, it's you won't really have another platform for at least 6 months if you want to release something new or whatever. So you don't have to release a CoCoFest or Tandy Assembly, but it's always a good thing to do. I think we're going to have some music from various spots coming out there at CoCoFest, hopefully from some of these developer cards I've been sending out.
Okay.
And I still need hoping to hack together some kind of game, a new game for my own self, whether or not it uses that cartridge. But we'll see. It's need the unlimited time machine as always. But anyway, TechTALK, CoCoFest is coming. Get on your projects.
There you go. Great advice. Richard Lorbieski in the Witness Protection Program.
See, turn this thing off. There you go. Gotta have the crickets. Just selling the processors, working on projects. Hopefully I'll have something in for Discord tonight. So
okay. We are going to try a CoCoTALK after dark. And by the way, can anybody put in the Skype chat, or not the Skype chat, but in the YouTube chat, can anybody put in a link to the Discord channel? I'll see if I can do that. So if anybody who's not already a member of our Discord server and you want to join CoCoTALK after dark tonight, maybe join us in Discord. Now, of course, we might actually end up doing it in Skype. Who knows where we're going to do it? But it's still, Discord is a great way to chat with fellow Cokians. Is that an actual term? I'm not sure. Okay. So I just posted the Discord link there, so if you want to join our Discord server. I'm sorry, somebody going to say something?
Yeah, is that a permanent one? I've noticed a lot of times when I look at them, there's like a one-time use when it's generated.
The one I just posted is not permanent, but it's I guess I could do that.
I was going to ask
if you just make one. Make one. So
there's
make
a check
one and
box.
post it.
There's a check box. You just
check it. All
right.
Okay, so you're going to make me do everything. Okay, I just posted it. Okay, so thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. And I know, Rick Adams, you got a lot going on, so maybe, you don't have to have too many words of wisdom for us today.
Just a few.
Okay.
So I went down and I was working on my game while we were talking and made a lot of nice progress. So I feel real good about that because it's like the first time I've had a chance to even think about touching it for 3 weeks. So I'm in a better mood.
Okay, good. Very, very good.
We're glad to hear that. For you guys, man.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And last, and certainly not least, because we know Jason is least, David Ladd. No animosity there. Parting thoughts, words of wisdom, free advice.
Make sure that drive door's closed before you type "dir."
All right.
So
20th century.
And
where would we be without that advice? Wow.
Yeah. Let's acknowledge who's been in the live chat with us today too. So we've had Norlander has been here, Nick Marotta has been here, Brian Joyce has been here, Richard Cavell has been here, Tom C, Ian McLaughlin, and who else? Nick Marotta. I don't remember if I mentioned that one or not, but Jason's brother Ken Make It was in the live chat. Glenn Hewlett stopped by in the live chat. Ivan Richwalski, catching his first live episode of CoCoTALK, was here with us. John Linville commenting on a few things. Some of the staff here, some of the panel here mentioning it. Brian Joyce, Richard. I think I got everybody. Steve Powell stopped by. Hey, Steve, good to see you. Ian, Tom C, Coco Man, Mark Overholser, Steve Power. I think I've got everybody now. I'm seeing repeating names. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody who was in. Alan Huffman was in the live chat too, and hopefully Alan will join us for CoCoTALK After Dark tonight. So if I missed you, I'm sorry, but thanks for watching us live. We were up to almost about 24 people watching us live at any given time. So thank you all for being here every week, for the people who watch and listen, and for all of you who volunteer your time to be part of the show. I appreciate it. We are going to wrap up episode 42 of CoCoTALK, and we're gonna play it out now with a couple of music videos and our great little outro here. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Are we gonna do bouncy?
Yes, we are.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Okay, I see us.
A lot better.
Yeah, a lot less laggy.
Yep.
Thank you for watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at CoCoTALK.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to CoCoTALK@CoCoTALK.live. If you love the color computer like we do, then visit imacoconut.com for all your color computer needs. Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, then visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/OGStevieStro. CoCoTALK would not exist without the community and its cast and crew. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholser, Grant Leighty, Bruce Moore, Rick Adams, Ron Delvaux, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Nick Morentis, Karen Anscombe, Simon Jonason, Wayne Campbell, Steve Batson, Brian Joyce, John Strong, and Barry Nelson. Special thanks to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and Brian Joyce for our Best of 2017 episode. Please help support the CoCo community by visiting some of its contributors. The CoCo Crew podcast at CoCoCrew.org. Glenside Color Computer Club, host of CoCo Fest at GlensideCCC.com. Jim Brain and Retro Innovations at go4retro.com. Tandy Assembly at TandyAssembly.com. Cloud9 Technologies at cloud9tech.com. Boyson Technologies at BOYSONtech.com.